Right now, in a crack in your foundation, under a rock in your backyard, in a gap between the boards of an old fence, there sits a creature that saw this world long before a single dinosaur ever walked it. It has survived 4 mass extinctions. It was crawling on the ground when the planet didn't even have trees, flowers, or birds yet. And at the end of its tail is a weapon that you probably assumed exists for one reason only: to hurt you. You've been afraid of it your whole life. Maybe you screamed when you saw its silhouette under the porch light. Maybe you called your husband, a neighbor, or a pest control service. But what you're about to learn will turn everything you thought about this creature upside down, because the truth about why it ended up right there in your yard has almost nothing to do with you, and almost everything to do with something you yourself have been trying to get rid of for years. Watch until the end, and you'll never look at a scorpion the same way again. Let's start with the basics, who these creatures actually are. Scorpions are one of the oldest lineages of living creatures on the planet. Scientists have found their fossils dating back more than 430 million years. Think about that number. That's long before insects even developed wings. That's long before the first tree, the first flower, the first vertebrate to step onto land. The scorpion was already here. And you know what's most amazing? Over all those hundreds of millions of years, its body has barely changed. Same armor, same claw shape, same tail with a stinger at the end. Now here's a simple question. If this design were bad, if it were some random mistake of nature, would it have survived that many catastrophes, that many eras, that many extinctions? Of course not. A body that has existed this long doesn't survive by accident. It survives because it's almost perfectly suited to its job. But here's the problem. The reputation the scorpion carries today has nothing to do with this incredible survival story. It's built on fear of a stinger that the vast majority of people have never even seen in action. And right now, we're going to break down 3 of the most dangerous misconceptions that cause millions of people to keep seeing an enemy where, in reality, an ally is at work. Misconception 1. Scorpions are hunting you. That's not true, and it never was. A scorpion's venom exists for one purpose: to subdue prey. Not a human, an insect. In the overwhelming majority of cases, a scorpion will only sting when it feels a direct threat. For example, if it's accidentally stepped on or pressed against skin. This isn't a predator's attack. It's the defensive reaction of a small creature trying to survive, exactly the way almost any small animal reacts when it senses danger. The scorpion has no reason to start a conflict. It's not to its advantage. It's dangerous for the scorpion itself. It would rather hide than attack. Misconception 2. Scorpions come into your yard because they want to get into your house. In reality, it's the opposite. Scorpions aren't coming for you. They're coming for food. Their diet is crickets, cockroaches, beetles, and other small insects. And wherever there are plenty of these insects, scorpions will keep showing up, moving along the foundation, along thresholds, exploring every crack in search of prey. Now stop and think about this. If you see a scorpion in your yard, that doesn't mean you have a scorpion problem. It means you already have an insect problem, one you may not even have been aware of. The scorpion simply showed up to an already set feast. Misconception 3. Scorpions are just mindless predators with no real benefit. And this is perhaps the most damaging misconception of all. Because in reality, the scorpion is a genuine free pest control service working in your yard every single night. It actively hunts cockroaches and crickets, 2 of the most annoying creatures homeowners typically fight against, as well as beetles and termites. The scorpion has an incredible hunting tool: sensitive hairs on its body and special sensing organs on its claws that pick up the faintest vibrations in the ground. Thanks to this, a scorpion can detect prey hidden in fallen leaves, in a woodpile, in a crack in the foundation, long before that prey even notices the danger. Every night, while you sleep, the scorpion is methodically reducing the numbers of exactly the insects that people spend real money fighting by calling in pest control specialists. It does this work for free, silently, without ever sending a bill. If this is already changing the way you look at scorpions, hit that like button right now, because it's about to get even more interesting. We cover the hidden science behind creatures that live right alongside us every single day. And if this resonates with you, subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And in the comments, tell me, have you ever found a scorpion in your yard? And what did you feel in that moment? I read every single comment. Now, here's a detail that will seem almost too strange to be true. If you've ever pointed a UV flashlight into a dark corner of your yard and seen something glow bright blue or green against the darkness, that wasn't your imagination. Almost every species of scorpion glows under ultraviolet light. The reason for this glow lies in a special layer of their exoskeleton. And here's the amazing part. Scientists still don't know for certain why nature gave scorpions this ability. It's one of the genuine, unsolved mysteries in the biology of these creatures. Some researchers believe the glow protects the scorpion from harmful ultraviolet radiation, acting like a natural sunscreen layer. Others believe the entire exoskeleton works like a giant light sensor, helping the scorpion know whether it's dark enough to safely come out and hunt. It's known that on especially bright moonlit nights, scorpions become less active, and it's possible that this whole body ability to sense light is exactly what helps them make that decision. But the most astonishing part is that this glow doesn't fade even after millions of years. Scientists have found scorpion fossils tens and hundreds of millions of years old, and these fossils still glow under UV lamps in laboratories today. That's exactly why paleontologists literally use UV flashlights to find ancient scorpion fossils buried in rock, sometimes discovering specimens that would be nearly impossible to spot with the naked eye otherwise. And here's where I want to bust another popular piece of advice you've probably come across online. Many people claim that if you leave a UV lamp running in your yard at night, scorpions will stay away from your house. That's not true. Research shows that scorpions completely ignore ordinary UV light and continue behaving exactly as if it weren't there at all. A UV flashlight is useful for exactly one thing: finding scorpions that are already near you, not keeping new ones from arriving. If you genuinely want fewer scorpions in your yard, the answer isn't lighting. The answer is reducing the number of insects the scorpion is hunting, because a scorpion with nothing to eat simply has no reason to stick around. And this is just the beginning of what makes this creature one of the most underrated survivors on the planet. In the next part, we'll break down how a scorpion can go without a single meal for weeks or even months at a time, why water matters more to it than food, which species actually pose a danger to humans and which are completely harmless, and why the very creature you feared your whole life has actually been working for you every night while you sleep. Stay with me. What comes next is even more unexpected. We left off with the fact that a scorpion can survive in conditions where almost any other creature would have died long ago. And this is where perhaps the most incredible part of its story begins, a story of endurance that seems almost superhuman if we weren't talking about a creature that isn't human at all. Picture an animal that can go without a single meal for weeks, not one day, not 2 days, weeks, and sometimes even months in a row. For a scorpion, this isn't a feat or a desperate survival measure. It's simply an ordinary way of life. Its body is built to burn energy incredibly efficiently, far more efficiently than most predators of similar size. While other creatures are forced to hunt almost constantly to avoid starving, a scorpion can sit in its shelter for weeks, barely moving, and still remain completely alive and ready to hunt at any moment. But here's what's truly important to understand. For a scorpion, the bigger challenge isn't food, it's water. Water, not food, becomes the main survival challenge in hot, dry conditions. And this explains a lot. If you've ever noticed a scorpion near a leaking outdoor faucet, near a sprinkler system, or near a small puddle by your house, that's not a coincidence. The scorpion didn't come there for your house. It came there for water, which it lacks in its natural environment. This confirms once again the main point of this whole story. A scorpion almost never shows up near a human because of the human.
It shows up because of the resources the human is unknowingly providing. There's one more detail that makes you genuinely admire this creature. Some scorpion species are able to survive short periods with very little oxygen. conditions that would kill most living creatures almost instantly. This is yet another small piece of evidence for just how overbuilt this creature's survival system really is. It's as if nature built the scorpion with a massive safety margin, far greater than what would be needed for ordinary survival. Now, let's ask ourselves an honest question. What does all of this mean for that very scorpion you might have found on your doorstep last week, ready to call in a specialist to get rid of it? It means that the creature that scared you half to death is most likely already doing that specialist's job itself, silently, every single night. It hunts in exactly those dark, cluttered corners of your yard where cockroaches and crickets usually hide. It's not there because it wants to get into your house. It's there because your yard, like almost any human dwelling, has accidentally created ideal conditions for it. Enough insects to hunt and enough moisture to live on. But in fairness, it needs to be said honestly. This doesn't mean absolutely every scorpion is equally safe. And it doesn't mean every species deserves to be welcomed into your yard with open arms. There are species that genuinely need to be taken seriously. One of the best-known examples is a scorpion found in arid regions, known for its especially potent venom. Its sting can cause genuinely serious symptoms in young children, elderly people, and those prone to severe allergic reactions. This can show up as intense pain, muscle spasms, and in rare cases, even difficulty breathing. And in cases like this, caution isn't an exaggeration. It's a reasonable precaution.
If you suspect that this particular dangerous species lives near your home, the right move is to contact pest control professionals rather than trying to handle the situation yourself. But here's what's important to understand. The vast majority of scorpions that people encounter in their yards in everyday life belong to a completely different category. Their sting, in terms of strength and consequences, is much closer to a bee or wasp sting than to anything resembling a serious health threat. And in almost all of these cases, the scorpion wasn't interested in the human at all. It simply ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, was accidentally disturbed, and reacted the only way it had available to defend itself. Now stop for a second and think about this.
A creature that has silently survived on this planet for more than 430 million years, barely changing its design because that design was already close to perfect for the job nature gave it. And we humans have spent almost our entire lives believing this creature exists only to hurt us. We built an entire culture of fear around a stinger whose only job is to subdue a cricket or a cockroach, not to hunt a human. And we carried that fear over, without distinction, to every scorpion we've ever encountered, regardless of species, regardless of circumstances, regardless of what was actually happening in that moment. The scorpion you saw under your porch light last night wasn't there for you. It was there for a specific cockroach or cricket it had been tracking since sunset, using a survival toolkit perfected long before the first dinosaur ever walked the earth.
It was doing work that many people pay pest control specialists money for, and doing it far more quietly and effectively than most store-bought chemical products. If this video changed the way you look at the creatures scurrying away from your porch light at night, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is about. The hidden truth behind the things you walk past every single day without a second thought. And write in the comments right now. Have you ever found a scorpion in your yard, and did you know at the time why it was really there? I read every single comment to the very last word. Because the truth is, nature rarely works against us the way it seems to at first glance. Far more often, what looks like a threat turns out to be a system working in our favor. We've simply never taken the time to really look at it. The scorpion at your doorstep isn't an enemy waiting for its moment to strike. It's an ancient, silent worker doing its job every single night while the whole house sleeps, asking for nothing in return except a few drops of water and a few